respected organizers, respected speakers on dais, respected friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to speak on the human rights violations on Indian diaspora in Malaysia. I have concern to speak on Malaysian Indian diaspora since I have done my PhD on Malaysian Indian diaspora in JNU. My presentation is based on my PhD, and through my field work, I have been there for 6 months to do my field work in order to map the social movements within Indian diaspora. Before I am going to speak on this topic, my hypothesis for this speech today is Malaysian Indian diaspora has now become the most oppressed and suppressed class of people, and in fact they have been made to become new underclass or underdogs and underprivileged and recolonized citizens of Malaysia. So I'm going to map this. Before mapping this, I have to speak on the colonial situation. Today's speaker, J.C. Sarma, has pointed out the indentured labor, how they have been exploited under what we call indentured migration. See, in Malaysian migration, the migration to Malaysia has been indentured migration. During colonial time, the Indian laborers were needed for the British capital in Malaysia. So, huge chunk of laborers were taken to Malaysia for the plantation capital. But they were exploited as like anywhere else in the world, so they could not come out of the cycle of poverty. At the same time, Malaysian Indian, the plantation laborers were recruited at the same time, they recruited for the Indian National Army when we fought for freedom. Most of the laborers were recruited as what we call soldiers for the INA. So you have to keep this in mind. So Malaysian Indians don't live the Indian shores for the prosperity, but they have been in touch, they have maintained a linkage with India. Because since what we call geographical proximity or whatever, they have been in touch even till now. They are the one who are representing more in numbers for the Pravasi Bharati Divas. Wherever it is being held in India, they are representing more in numbers. It shows their patriotism, and also they look forward to their concerns. I mean, from India, like they want to get some kind of help for their problem from various Indian diasporic organizations as well as India as a nation state. So the colonial situation, like the plantation laborers were exploited and they were made to work, and what else, like for example Chinese, they also as co-migrant along with Indian laborers, but they have prospered under what we call colonial rule. But Indian laborers could not get prosperity due to this exploitation of the what we call the British planters. Next, the post-colonial situation, the native Malays, they've taken over the political power, and the British, they left Malaysia by having this consortial democracy. Like all the ethnicities could represent the rule, but the majority race could lead the democratic setup. So Malays have taken over the rule, and they made laws in favor of Malays because Malays were the sufferers of the British colonial rule, because they were maintained or they were kept as agricultural laborers and civil servants. They could not prosper in the British colonial economy. Chinese were the recipients of the what we call Chinese were the main benevolent of the British Malaysian colonial economy. In order to overtake the Chinese domination in the colonial what we call economy, the Malays, after taking over the power of the colonial rule, they just started making laws in favor of Malays in order to overtake the Chinese. But Indians have become the victims of this colonial, or what we call the post-colonial policies. There have been what we call new economic policy for the Malays. So Malays have been given preferential treatment in every aspect of life. As a result, being a plantation laborer background, Indians could not what we call bear with this preferential treatment for Malays, so they become victims of this what we call Malayan majoritarian policy. Along with ethno-religious nationalism of Malays also have been affecting the Indians. For example, the Indians have been living in the plantations. They were forced to move on because of the modernization of plantation. Today, the plantations have been dismantled because of the modernization projects. They have been asked to go without giving any benefits. So that is now they are coming to the urban areas and they are making urban slum people. Like they could not find proper housing. There was no benefits, welfare benefits for them. As a result, most of them went as laborers. They could not come up. They could not prosper under British colonial economy. After even British they left Malaysia, this post-colonial era also, they could not come up because of the Malay racist policies. In terms of religious aspect, for example, in colonial, on the plantation, they have been given temple, they have been given school to maintain their identity. But after dismantle of the plantation, they could not build their own temples. So even after migrating to urban areas, they find it very tough to find a site to put their temple. So what is happening in Malaysia? They are building their own temple within their housing premises. If you go to Malaysia, you can see the temple within the house in order to preserve their identity. So their Hindu identity is under attack. It's very strange. For example, Indian political class could not champion this plight of the Malaysian Indians because being a minority in the Malaysian political setup, they could not champion this cause. But recently, as we know, in 2007, Indra came into scene. They were trying to voice out their concerns all over the world, but even they could not also achieve much. But there's a change after Indra rising. But still, there's much things to be done in Malaysian Indian context. So I want to use this forum to I want to appeal to you. I think Indian government should try to send a team to find out what is really happening in the Malaysian Indian community, why they are on the street, what can be done. At least we have to represent, or at least we have to give voice out for this, for the concerns of Malaysian Indians. In the sense, even Indra has contacted Human Rights Commission, and also even they have contacted Amnesty International to address their problem. But the Malaysian government is very much adamant because Malaysia is not a signatory to all these international conventions. So as our own citizens, as our own brothers and sisters are in trouble, I think as our government, as Indian government should send a delegation of lawyers, because today you have many lawyers in this forum. So I want to tell you, you have to put a pressure on. At least Gopiya should act as a pressure group to speak for the concerns of the Indians who are suffering under this Malay authoritarian rule. Actually, the Article 5 of the Malaysian Constitution has been violated, and another article, right to equality is being violated, and Article 11, freedom of religion is being violated in Malaysia. Today, there is a Malayization of civil service and legal establishments. Even the middle class, working class, the Malaysian middle class, working class, they all have been in crisis. They have not been given equal opportunities. They have been denied, they have been discriminated what they deserve to be. That's what is happening in Malaysia. So I think us, India's emerging economic power, we need to speak the concerns of the Indians in Malaysia in various international bodies. Even we not interfere with the sovereignty of a nation, but we can raise these concerns in various international bodies in favor of our Malaysian brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on the crisis of the Malaysian Indians in Malaysia. Thank you very much.